Hello everyone and welcome to Harv's World for episode 1 of Dalton Valley Farm. Yes, we've come to Dalton Valley Farm and this is the UK based map that we are going to say is Scotland. Based on some comments I've heard about this map, it looks most like Scotland, so that's what we're going to call it. And the reason being is that this begins the first leg of what I'm going to call the Harv's World World Tour. So, the premise behind Harv's World Tour is every time we move on from a map, we're going to pick a map in a different country. And we've just come from the Pacific Northwest, moving all the way to Scotland. Should be interesting, should be fun. The reason that I picked Dalton Valley Farm to start with is because the map maker has stated that all proceeds from this map will be donated to Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders is a fantastic nonprofit organization that provides medical aid where it's needed most. They respond to emergencies throughout the world. Doctors donate their time to go and help, for example, war-torn nations, civilians that need medical aid, and it's just not available to them. So these doctors are doing great work around the world. And if you'd like to donate to them, I will put a link to their website in the description down below. So keep Doctors and Borders with mind as we go through this Let's Play. Now, a few things that we're going to be doing during this Let's Play in this UK-based Scotland map, Dalton Valley Farm. We are going to be playing seasons. I'm going to start with 6-day seasons. And I am not that familiar with seasons, so we're going to kind of be learning a little bit about seasons as we go along. I know enough to be dangerous and probably get us into trouble, so you can look forward to lots of missteps and mishaps, but it should be fun. So, on Dalton Valley Farm, there are some options you can choose when you start out, and I chose the sheep and goats option. So right here we have a goat pen. We will be able to purchase goats. And we'll just take a look at that right now. We can get brown, white, or black goats. And they provide milk, which we will need a special tanker for, but milk goat sells for good money, so we should be able to make some profit off of that. Not sure how goats work because that's not a part of seasons that's not a part of seasons as a base mod. It's something that's been added by the map maker, so it'll be interesting to find out exactly how goats are functioning in seasons. Now this is our sheep pen and pasture. Nice big pasture. This is the feed trough. Actually, this gate right here, we'd be able to buy our sheep. And I think when I get ready for sheep, we are going with the Dorpers. They are basically meat sheep that we're going to raise, fatten up, and then sell off to the butcher for mutton. So yeah, nice big sheep pasture. Now looking around, as you recall, I did ask people to pick a tractor. What tractor was going to follow us through our travels, and it is the Fendt 1050. It has been refitted for the UK. It's got beacons now and red and white markers on the sides, so we are prepped for UK farming with the big Fendt 1050. Now let's take a look at the map real quick, and I think most of the first episode is going to be map tour, just getting to know the area. Now in this, you start with $500,000 and no equipment. But you do have field 21, which is your sheep pasture. But if you didn't want to raise sheep, you could turn that into some other type of field. We also have field 26 with grass in it. We can do whatever we want to with that. But for now, we're going to leave it as grass because I'm pretty sure we're going to need plenty of grass and hay. We also start with field 22, a small field that's already been utilized as a field. Sunflowers came off of it previously, so we won't be putting sunflowers back in that field. And then the first purchase I've made, and only purchase so far, is to purchase field 20 right here. It's pretty close to the biggest field on the map, as you can see. And if we take a look, it was $123,000. Pretty close to the same size as field 19, and I don't really see anything bigger on the map. So that should serve us well as a nice big place to grow crops and hopefully expand from. And then we'll have field 22 for any kind of feed or additional hay or whatever we need. Again, we've got the sheep pasture here in 21, and then 26 is going to be grass for more hay. So that's where we stand at the moment. The only vehicle I have to drive is the Fent, so I'm going to be cruising around Dalton Valley Farm in the Fent. Now, one thing I'm also going to try to do on this Let's Play, something that I'm not terribly familiar with, but I want to learn because I know how helpful it can be, and that's going to be course play. So I'm going to try to be bringing some course play into play here also. But we'll see how well that works out, because it can be pretty complex. I'll be doing some testing off screen to make that work for us. But this is actually a really lovely map. It's really well detailed. The map maker, and I should have gotten his name, and I will make sure to credit that person probably next time. But this is, yes, this is a really nicely detailed map. You know, it's separated by living areas. It's got kind of village type areas. You know, this stone wall here along the waterfront is just fabulous. And you know, there are ships working out at sea. You can see just over there, there's a beach coming up here on the left. You know, parking area, pull in, go to the beach, come down at night, go skinny dipping, whatever your preference. And then we've got several different animal areas and farms. Actually, I should have the map up. Oops, wrong button. There we go. But, you know, coming up here on our right is a horse ranch, and we do have access to be able to purchase and use horses in these, like in this area. This is just another farm that you could have selected and started from. You can see there's actually a horse training area. Lots of stuff going on here. Good storage. We've got horse manure, apparently. Horse muck for sale. Well, that pretty well answers that question. And you will be going into more detail on all of this stuff as we do the Let's Play. I don't know how long this Let's Play is going to be, because this is a pretty small map. But I think Seasons is going to help us stretch that out just a little bit. And hopefully you'll learn something about Seasons. I'll learn something about Seasons. And we'll just generally have some fun playing. These are actually not, I mean, they're medium-sized fields. There's a lot of small, but there are some good-sized medium fields. I figure what I bought was about a medium-sized field. It's less than 20 acres, but it should serve us pretty well for one good profit-type crop. So, as we're coming up here, on the right, you will see there's a nice big farm out there. And this would be your basic starting farm. You know, if you just... the map maker has included like 4 different options when you start this map. It's pretty unique in that way. But this is the main starting area if you just want to do a general let's get started. And this is a nice, excuse me, this is a nice big area with lots of storage. It has the capacity for chickens, it has a capacity for cows, and it also has a lime fill point here. I'm going to find out if we can actually utilize this lime fill point. I'm not sure just at the moment. But hopefully from our farm we'll still be able to come over here and get lime. Looks like a bunker silo over here. Is that a bunker silo or is that manure? Must be manure because nothing bunker is popping up. So this is an interesting cow pasture. It's pretty unique in itself. These great feed cages or whatever you want to call them, made out of old tires. The map maker's just done a fantastic job with this. So yeah, this would be where you would start if you just chose the first option for this map. Alright, let's move on. Just check out a few more areas and then we'll get back to our farm and see what we can do to get started. Right here would be your chickens if you start in this area. And they're free-range chickens. They just kind of wander around the farmyard. Which is kind of nice. I mean, you don't generally see chickens all caged up all the time like you do in a lot of the chicken husbandry stuff, if you will. Great old farmhouse there with the little garden in the back and a scarecrow. That's pretty spectacular. Love that. But yeah, you know, you see chickens anywhere else, they're just out wandering around the barnyard or whatever. And so it's nice to see that in this map. I don't think we'll be doing anything with chickens, but it's still a cool feature. Now back here we have a sale point, and this looks like it's going to be hay and straw. I'm sure this is marked. Yeah, bale sell point. So if you have bales to sell, probably most likely silage bales. I mean, let's be honest, silage is probably the big money maker when it comes to bales, but we've got the Dalton barn store, and we have the bale sell point. Well, I guess we're not going to be able to click on it, but regardless. We have a root crop sale point at the, well, actually it's the BGA accepts root crops. So if we wanted to grow potatoes or sugar beets, we could sell those to the BGA. The Dalton barn store, where we're at right now, we'll sell, or we'll buy most any crop you want to grow, including sugarcane. I'm not sure that sugarcane would necessarily grow in Scotland, and I doubt seasons would allow that anyway. But we also have the Dalton Valley store, the manure sell point, the spinnery, the Whippet Inn, and a wood chip sell point. What's the Whippet Inn do for us? Oh, I see. The Whippet Inn will purchase eggs and goat milk. So the Whippet Inn, when we have eggs and goat milk, that's where we'll take those. Only for us, it's just going to be goat milk. We're not doing eggs, which I just said, but that is neither here nor there. So, with that said, let's move on just a little bit more. Let's go find the Whippet Inn. And I think coming up here, not too much farther on the left. And I guess since I'm in the UK and in Scotland, I should probably turn on my beacons. There we go. There's the beacons. Now coming up here on the left, I know I was talking about forestry, and that is going to come up in just a second, but this is another starting area where you could start if you wanted to. This would be where you would raise pigs. And then back here also, and we'll look at this first, but there are areas where you can place your own stuff, and it's set up really nicely. This is a pretty cool little feature. You know, it's a realtor sign letting you know exactly how big the lot is, how much the price is going to be, and you could come in here and start clearing the land and prepping it for whatever you would like. So yeah, I like that feature too. This is a really nicely laid out map. Really well detailed. I'm impressed, genuinely impressed by this map, small though it is. And the fact that it is donating its proceeds to Doctors Without Borders, that makes it just that much better. But yeah, here's our root crop sale point right here. That's pretty patently obvious. And we actually have some storage here that we might even be able to utilize. I'm not sure, but there is a silo here where we could possibly store some grain. That's one thing that we're missing on the sheep farm. We don't have any kind of a silo, so I might have to consider putting a small one in to get us started. But over here on the other side, this would be your starting area, like I said, for pigs. And this is kind of interesting because you have a pig food mixer right here. So you would basically put whatever you need to make your pig food, or possibly just put pig food in here, and that's gonna pipe that stuff in right into the piggy feed trough. So that's kind of a cool feature, and you can actually see the piping coming in from outside. I like that a lot. We've got opening doors. There are some light switches dotted around, so a lot of interactivity there. We've got a slurry point for pigs. This is going to be your water fill point, so you're going to fill water tanks, and then the water tanks are going to keep water for your pigs. And we are using the animal pen extension, so we will have access to the water valves that come with that mod, which makes watering animals so much easier. And here's the pig manure point, and then the pig pen. Disgustingly muddy, as a pig pen should be. Yeah, I mean, this is good stuff. It's really good, and I'm gonna have some fun playing on this one. I think it's gonna be a good time, and we're gonna have an opportunity to learn a few things that I don't know as much about as I would like yet. Seasons in particular. I know Seasons comes with its own challenges, and that's gonna, in some ways, make our gameplay more challenging, but it's also going to keep it interesting. And we're going to look at the Seasons menu before we wrap up for today too. Here's the logging, or the forestry area I was talking about. So over here on the right, we've got the lumber mill and wood chip sell point. And then all of these properties farther back down this road, these are just pure forestry. Come back here, bring your forestry machines, and start chopping trees, which is something we're going to have to consider during the winter time when there's less going on the farm. We get our animals taken care of. We won't be able to do with anything with the crops in the ground, but maybe forestry will be part of that. This is a cool feature with the water pipes spewing water out. I like that. And just nice attention to detail here. So yeah, you can see, you know, big wooded, forested area, although not unlimited. So you will reach a point back here that you may just have to replant trees and wait for them to grow back up, which can take quite a bit of time in Seasons, if I remember correctly. And throughout gameplay, you know, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who have a great deal of experience with Seasons, so feel free to leave tips and comments, point out the mistakes I've made. You know, I always said when I started doing these videos that the one thing I really wanted to accomplish was to learn something new. And that applies to everything, you know, the game, mods, and just how to make these videos better. So here would be our fuel sale point. If we need to stock up on fuel for the farm or whatnot, we can come back there. These nice old houses back in here, these are really cool. We've got another we've got another sale point. This is the Whippet Inn. This was the one we were looking at, and where we will be bringing our milk and eggs when we're ready to sell them. Goat milk apparently sells for a nice chunk of change, so hopefully that will boost us up quite a bit and keep us going. Okay, well, we're going to circle around the southwest side of the map, headed back toward our starting farm. And this is really cool, this old church, and this clock actually keeps time with the game, so that's a nice feature. We've got some road construction going on down there. You know, like I keep saying, just fabulous little details that bring the map to life. And you can see we're in early spring, so the trees are not green; they're all lost their leaves. Coming up here on the left, we've got our store. Let's stop into the store real quick and just see what we have access to, or how to access it, I should say. You know, most store lots and maps are empty. This one's got equipment dotted around, different things. Nothing that we have access to, but, you know, when would you ever see an equipment store that doesn't have equipment out in the parking lot? As you can see, I can't hook up to this cultivator, so, but it does just, like I said, bring the map to life. So we would come here to pick up whatever we purchase or lease, and then get our repairs done. And I think there's one more stop along the way here. Yeah, we've got multiple sale points up here on the left. We're going to take a look at those and find out exactly what we need to bring here. It's not like this is going to be a difficult map to learn how to get around. I think the bigger challenges are actually going to be the bigger challenge is going to be learning what of our stuff will fit down these narrow lanes. And I haven't tested them, but do the hedges have collisions? Yes, the hedges do in fact have collisions. So that's going to make it even more challenging. Okay, so this would be the Dalton Valley Farm Shop, just another sale point. Little tight sale point, but it's all good. We'll find ways to get our stuff in here. And then the BGA. So you have a scale. You can scale in when you come in. This tractor weighs 16,732 pounds. Very cool. We have, looks like probably, oh no, this would be where we would bring potatoes or sugar beets. If we wanted to sell them at the BGA, we've got our digestate fill point right here. And is this a tip in? And where would it be? It's got to be this right here. So yeah, this is a nice tip in BGA. No problems getting your stuff in. No need for forklifts or front loaders or anything like that. And we've got a couple kind of medium-sized bunker silos. These aren't as big as you would normally see in a BGA, but I like them. They're nice. Actually, the big ones at the big BGAs, unless you're, you know, if you've got 50 acres of grass or 100 acres of grass, you might have a chance of filling those up. Good luck otherwise. So at this point, this field on the left here, this is one of our fields. It's our grass field. So we're going to be needing some mowing equipment. Let's get back to our farm and stop crashing into everything. But if you've been following me, you know I love to crash into stuff because that's just my thing. Actually, it kind of has to do with the fact that I'm a keyboard and mouse player. Sometimes keyboarding or, you know, using the WASD keys can be a bit of a challenge driving around these narrow maps. Or maybe it's just my lack of skill. I don't know. Don't care. I have fun. That's all that really matters. So we are back to our starting farm. Let's go ahead and get parked up here. And let's open our seasons menu, which I think we all know at this point is Alt-S. We are on the first day of spring. Early spring. Day 1, early spring. And the only things that we could plant right now, today, are grass or lucerne. We'll have to wait a couple days, and then some more things will start opening up to us, like rye, spelt, triticale, potatoes or sugar beets, and then some cereal or canola, wheat and barley or canola. Now you can see we do have access to animals in the seasons menu. The animals menu has changed when you install, so you have to come into the seasons menu to see your animals and the pens. And crop rotation. So we have 2 fields that are plantable or will be plantable that we could start working on immediately. Field 22. Let's go ahead and jump into field 22, and we're going to take a look. Now we can see that the last crop here was oilseed, and the crop before that was nightshade. Nightshade is basically just potatoes. So if we look at rotation plan A, I've already put in potatoes. That would be our nightshade, and then this was actually sunflowers, but it doesn't matter. Oilseed is oilseed. And so what that's telling me now is my next crop, I'm thinking I want to put lucerne in just to build up our hay supply, to get our animals going, sheep and goats. But if we start clicking through, after sunflowers, there's really not a great crop. So we're going to bite the bullet. We're going to take a 5% reduction in our crop, but that's not too bad, and that will reinvigorate our soil so that we can put in cereal grains next and get a nice 20% boost. So we'll be doing okay. Now the other field, the one that I purchased, it had wheat in it and then soybeans, so we are primed on that field to put in a nice big batch of canola. And that's what I'm shooting for, and that's going to give us a 20% increase in canola production on that field. So that's where we're going with that. Now let's go back to our calendar and find out. So in 2 days I can get my canola in the ground, and I could get lucerne in this field right here right now. But if we look at our fields, there we go. We can see that field 22 needs lime and field 20 needs plowing. Now, that's going to be a good bit of plowing, but at least field 22 is fertilized on the first stage of fertilizer, so we're good to go there, and it does not need plowing. So it's, if with a little bit of lime put on there, we'd be ready to plant that lucerne. So maybe that's what I need to focus on to start with. I think I will definitely be doing that. And I want to take a look, how much is the biogas plant to buy? Because you know we always have to purchase that in order to be able to use it. And it's only $27,909, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just get that out of the way. It's cheap actually for a change. So that's another $27,909. We are at about $350,000 to deal with equipment purchases or leasing. And that's what we'll be starting with. Leasing for the most part. Yeah, here's one of our little interactive light switches. Turns the light on in this pole barn. Yeah, so this is Dalton Valley Farm. It's going to be fun, interesting. Again, remember, Doctors Without Borders, a great nonprofit organization doing fantastic work around the world. And episode 1, Dalton Valley Farm map tour Scotland, beginning the Harv's World Tour. So I appreciate you all coming along for the ride, following me over from the Pacific Northwest. So, if you like this video, if you found it entertaining, do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. And until next time, take care.